You've heard the saying, money isn't everything, and for one man who risked his life and fortune to save a puppy, that saying couldn't be more true. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are uncovering Dr. Newman's Detroit mansion. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. This video is brought to you in part by Victorian Society in America. More on them later. Born in England, Robert Newman came to the New World in pursuit of the American dream. Arriving in 1875, he set his sights on becoming a doctor, and in 1889 he graduated from the Detroit College of Medicine. Along the way, he met and married an unlikely love interest, Bessie Scotten, who was the only child of tobacco magnate Daniel Scotten. Daniel had built an empire from the ground up, founding Hiawatha Tobacco Works and amassing a great fortune. When he passed away in 1899, he left $7 million to the newlywed couple, the modern equivalent of about $265 million. After inheriting the money, Robert closed his humble medical practice and went into the tobacco business. He then ventured into real estate and purchased land and speculation of growing industry, which paid off when he sold out to U.S. Steel. The young couple now had more money than they could ever spend, enough to support several generations of offspring, but they decided not to have children, instead becoming heavily involved in charity and offering generous support for the arts. During this time, they commissioned architect Henry P. Kirby to design for them a stately mansion along Detroit's Jefferson Avenue overlooking the river. The house was designed to be reminiscent of an English manor house with a porte-cochere boasting buttresses and limestone coins framing the red brick facade. Around back, a crenellated tower soared above the steeply pitched roofline, adding the flair the couple desired. We can imagine how elegant it must have appeared with a cool blue slate roof topping off the estate above formal gardens marked by pea gravel paths. All this time, and we haven't even turned around to admire the sweeping views of the water where their boathouse touches the shores of the Detroit River. Heading back towards the mansion, we notice the greenhouse to the side and take a moment to absorb the scenery. Before we swing back around to the front and begin exploring the interior, a quick word about the sponsor of today's video, Victorian Society in America. Are you captivated by historic architecture? Want to explore, learn, and dive even deeper into the past? With the Victorian Society in America, you'll have the chance to travel to American cities and tour stunning 19th century buildings, pursue learning through internationally acclaimed summer programs in American cities and abroad, including Chicago, Newport, and London to name a few. Additionally, members will enjoy a free subscription to 19th Century, the semi-annual publication packed with articles on art, architecture, preservation awards, and book reviews. Visit the website below in the video description and become part of the Victorian Society in America today. Thank you, Victorian Society in America, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to our tour. After passing through the vestibule, we arrive in the main hall, clad floor-to-ceiling in oak paneling and dimly lit by electric lights. Making our way deeper in, we find the grand staircase centered on the hall. We'll see more of it soon enough. In the meantime, let's make our way down to the end of the hall and continue through the doorway straight ahead. This leads us into the library, where we are surrounded by open bookshelves rising all the way to the beam ceiling and encompassing door surrounds. With dozens of options for comfortably sitting and reading, this is the epitome of a personal library in this time period. There are rolling ladders, catwalks, and half stairs leading up to the bookcases, ensuring easy access to any works of literature at any time. This room was frequently rearranged, with furniture being cycled in and out, always in pursuit of creating the most ideal library. Back in the main hall, had we turned just before the library and headed through the pointed archway, we would have found a cozy alcove guarded by a suit of armor. This brings us to Dr. Newman's study, one of the smallest rooms in the house in which he could comfortably work from home. Let's now cut back through the main hall and make our way through the velvet curtains at the opposite end. Here we find the drawing room, with collections from various continents on full display, including a tiger skin and several tapestries. We'll also find fine furnishings, marble statues, and heavy drapes covering the windows, as was very fashionable for the time. Around the corner and overlooking the river towards the rear of the house is the formal dining room. In place of a butler's pantry, the family displayed both their silver and crystalware in curio cabinets and on the hutch. Though for less formal meals, the couple would have been waited on by their staff in the morning room, where we can imagine the couple sipping coffee and eating breakfast over the morning newspaper. Let's return now to the grand staircase and begin making our way up to the second floor. At the stair landing, the bay window we saw out back creates an alcove offering panoramic views of the river. Up here we'll find several bedrooms, each one furnished just as stylish as the last. The couple suite had his and hers beds, as was still customary for the time period. Her dressing room wasn't just a place to ready herself. Bessie was deeply religious and would kneel at the alcove for private prayers. His was more or less just for getting dressed or maybe slipping away for a quick nap. The couple enjoyed their estate for many years, continuing with philanthropic endeavors and pouring money into the arts. While Mr. Newman preferred to keep a low profile, only appearing in the newspapers a couple times, there was one event surrounding him which led to a media field day. As he looked out over the Detroit River in January, he saw a puppy wander out onto the ice and fall through. I'll read you his quote. "I love dogs, and I couldn't endure the thought of watching this fine puppy die for want of human aid. I tied a rope around my waist and asked a policeman to hold the other end. Then I worked my way over the ice, pushing a skiff ahead of me, and at length reached and rescued the dog." Newspapers all around the region reported his good deed, though it was really the only one of many that had gained any publicity. Bessie passed away in 1923, and Dr. Newman followed in 1938. By the time of his death, he had given away over half of their fortune to various causes. He left $3 million, the modern equivalent of about $67 million, to his nieces, siblings, and his staff, ensuring that none of them would ever have to work another day in their lives. As for his grand estate, it was eventually paved over for the parking lot and lawn to the south of the UAW. What did you think about the Newmans mansion? Let me know down below in the comments section. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Victorian Society in America for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out their website and find out how you can become a member today. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on This House.